Hello YouTube and welcome to another video in the series People of the Elder Scrolls, where I talk about one specific person in the Elder Scrolls universe and deal with most of the lore surrounding this person and just give a sort of summary of the character. Today we're going to talk about Jarl Balgruuf the Greater, but before we begin, a few days ago I did a small scale interview. I used my wrong mic accidentally, so listening to it isn't pretty. But if you want to know more about me and the channel, I can really recommend watching the interview. The link to the interview is in the description, and with that being said, let's immediately kick off with today's video on Jarl Balgruuf. Jarl Balgruuf the Greater is the Jarl of Whiterun in the year 201 of the 4th era. He is respected by many, even Stormcloak players often voice respect and a bit of sadness when they have to kill him during the Civil War. He is a Nord that still follows their ancient traditions and is looked up by many of the young Nords as a person they would like to become. But let's start at the beginning, his youth. During his youth, he, a direct descendant of the ancient Nordic king Olaf One-Eye, and the son of the Jarl of Whiterun already had the spotlight on him. For Skyrim, he and Ulfric Stormcloak were the two celebrity children, and they experienced great rivalry between the two. They both made pilgrimages to High Hrothgar in their youths, and due to their rivalry gained respect for one another, but also a sense of dislike for one another. We will actually see this later in Jarl Balgruuf's character when talking about Ulfric, but also in Ulfric when talking about Jarl Balgruuf. While Ulfric Stormcloak was studying with the Greybeards, Balgruuf joined the Imperial Legion, and there met his future close friend Irileth. They fought together a lot, and when Balgruuf was called back home because he had to become the Jarl of Whiterun, she followed him and became his personal bodyguard, or housecarl. During this time as Jarl, it became apparent that he always handled in the favor of the people of his hold, thereby getting the title Jarl Balgruuf the Greater. We see this later in his life too, when he, instead of choosing in what he believes or choosing for personal gain like other Jarls, he decides to stay neutral in the Civil War and spare his people from most of the harm, and allow their Talos worship, refusing both the Stormcloaks and the Legion access to his city because that is the best choice for his people and not for himself or his beliefs. When asked about his loyalty, he always says that he maybe has loyalty for one side or the other, but he is prominently loyal to Whiterun. He is on the side of Whiterun and its people, not to any other faction. When the Great War ended early in his reign, he had no say in whether to accept the White Gold Concordat or not. While some of the Jarls seemed to be in the Elder Council of the Empire, it seemed like that at least the White Gold Concordat was a complete judgment call by the Emperor and his generals. The Elder Council, if Jarl Balgruuf was even on that, had nothing to say about it. If you want to know more about the White Gold Concordat and some of the effects that even it had on Whiterun Hold, because I analyzed some of Jarl Balgruuf's dialogue in it, you should really watch my video where I analyzed the entire White Gold Concordat. But this fact that he had nothing to say over it left a little bit of distaste for the Empire in him, and he basically just ignored the Concordat as far as he could. The outlaw of Talos worship was simply ignored by him. He continued worshipping Talos and allowed the people of his hold to do so as well, even keeping a public Talos shrine in Whiterun. But in the end, Jarl Balgruuf will always side with the Empire, no matter what choices you make. After the Civil War destroyed his economy and the Stormcloaks raided his hold, he will recognize that he can give the people of Whiterun more prosperity under the Empire. That, and the fact that he sees the murder of Torrik as disgraceful and a break of tradition and just has a general dislike for Ulfric, really got him to choose for the Empire. It is stated that his ultimate choice for the Empire actually motivated a lot of young Nords, including Stormcloaks, to stop supporting the Stormcloaks, because as I said before, he is kind of idolized by the Nordic youth, and his choices can actually influence a lot of people's thinking, not only in Whiterun Hold, but in all of Skyrim. But what is not often told about him is that he used to have a wife. Well, actually, it's kind of vague. It seems like he could have had two wives, actually. Whether he had them simultaneously or maybe after another, we don't know. We know that he has kids and that one of them says that he has a different mother than the others. This could mean that he had a mistress maybe, but it could also mean that his first wife died and he got a second one after it. But I don't really see Jarl Balgruuf doing the secret mistress and cheating on his wife. He's a quite honorable Nord and he really cares about tradition. I personally think that he had 2 wives that probably both died tragically, hence we don't see them, but we don't know, there's simply no information on them. But I think it's a cool way of thinking that he just had a wife, she died, and then he had another wife and she also died, and I don't know, it's not cool for him of course, but I think that's the most logical answer to this. I think that regardless of which side you're on, you can always respect Jarl Balgruuf. He truly thinks of his people and his people alone. This is actually quite unique in Skyrim, where Jarls are usually motivated by other things like personal gain or appearance. Balgruuf just wants to rule his city and his people, and he wants to do it right. He wants them to be prosperous, actually wishes to do good things for his people. You see this time to time again, and when he sees the bigger picture instead of just his personal gain. For example, deeming the dragon crisis as way more important than the civil war, wanting to make peace in the civil war, just so we can destroy the dragons, and even putting his own palace and his own people at risk to save Skyrim when he gives the Dragonborn permission to use the palace to capture Odahviing. This is one of the reasons why he's one of my personal favorite characters in the Elder Scrolls, because he really seems to care about his people. When I look at the other Jarls, even the ones that I like, you always see, personal gain in it. For example, the Jarl of Riften, no matter which side you're on, I mean, they're corrupt as fuck. Oh wait, demonetization. No, but, I mean, every hold, we see that the Jarl is just there for personal gain. Mostly. So, that's why I like Jarl Balgruuf. But then again, people can have their own opinions. Let me know what you think of Jarl Balgruuf. And if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more Elder Scrolls lore. If you want to support me on Patreon, you have to click on the link in the description. There you get access to my exclusive soundtrack that featured heavily in this video. And you also get access to your name at the end of every video, like you see here. You can choose any name. And yeah. If you want personal contact with me, there's my Discord and Instagram in the description. And with that said, I will see you in the next lore video. Bye bye.